educate future children someday. I think that's nice. I thought I'd just watch my programs, entertain the grandkids in my retirement. But that didn't turn out to be the case. I'm just glad they all made it to the vault in time, you see. When I saw it in a dream, I knew my prayers were answered. My husband Frank used to work in the mines. Just a bit before the war, there was news of tremors, and he didn't come home. I don't know what happened to him or why he never came home for sure. And between you and me, I'm fine with that. Since the war, I've just read my old newspapers and listened to music. It's very peaceful for once, which is just right nice by me. Ever hear of the Watoga Times Atomic Lottery? The winner got 10 years worth of Blamco mac and cheese, and Salisbury steak, and Nuka-Cola, of course. I played that lottery for 20 years, and I finally won the month before the war. It lasted only 8 years, though. But who can you complain to? By the time it ran out, I had heard the responders' radio broadcast, so I went out to find them and get supplies. Bless their hearts. Well, I'm going home now. For a bit, anyways. How do I turn this thing off? Oh, blast these things. Not this button. Not this one. Oh, oh, here it is.
Welcome back, dear listeners. It's time once again to put aside all you think you know, all you believe to be true. Time to open your mind to the strange, bizarre, and sometimes terrifying world that exists in the shadows and fringes of our own, where myth, legend, and rumor are made real. Yes, it's time for more thrilling tales from the West Virginia hills. Tonight's episode, Who Goes There? A Strange Encounter in Flatwoods, is brought to you by Sugar Bombs, the breakfast cereal with explosive great taste and 100% of the recommended daily allowance of sugar. Get your morning started right with Sugar Bombs. Our tale begins on a fateful night when a young pioneer scout, Red Fisher, finds himself in quite the predicament, having taken a spill and fallen into a dark place.
Where am I? Jack? Biff? Mr. Bailey? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Who's there? I can't see you.
Me. My name's Sally. What's yours?
Fred.
Are you okay, Fred?
I think so. My head's a little woozy. Must have hit it when I fell.
Oh, no. Did you get lost, too?
Well, sort of. What I mean is that I was camping with my scout troop by the lake near Flatwoods. There were these lights kind of dancing in the sky.
Neat.
I guess. Anyway, we heard some weird noises, and the guy's double dog dared me to go look. So I did.
All by yourself? You're really brave.
Shucks. Thanks. I followed the noises to an entrance of an old mine. It smelled awful there. Like rotten eggs, but worse. Suddenly, there was a bright light shining down on me. I was super scared and ran to the mine to hide. But everything felt strange. Like my feet weren't even touching the ground. Everything went black, and I woke up here in the dark.
That all happened to me, too. We'll just do it like Dad says. When you've strayed or lost your foot, do what's best and stay put. They said they'd reach him soon.
There are other people here?
A very good question indeed. Tune in next time to find out the answer in the chilling conclusion of Who Goes There? The Strange Encounter in Flat Woods.
Hello, person in the distant future. Dasa told us these tapes would be used as historical records someday. Pretty nifty. So, my name is Miguel Caldera. Let's see, my story begins in an office. I used to be a programmer at Vault-Tec, one of many. Nobody special, you see. And, and that's okay. I used to stare out that window by the coffee machine and think, shucks, I wish I could leave this job and hike in the woods every day. I'd dream about walking the Appalachian Trail, setting up camp wherever I liked, and traveling with close friends. Dreams kept me going. And, well, when the bombs fell, I was terrified, just like anybody else. I wasn't in a vault, so I just, I had to figure it all out too. The responders found me. I had a little campsite, some supplies. I hacked the Protectron to guard me while I slept, but I miss people. I did. It's been all right, the apocalypse and all. I know that seems weird, but I have freedom now. I can actually help people. I even met somebody. A volunteer who delivers supplies. Imagine that, right? Even when you think everything is over, it's not. It goes on. I mean, it's awful too. Don't get me wrong. All the people dead and hurt. But those are things beyond my control. So, I'm making the best of it. These days, I'm important. People treat me like I matter because, well, there's so few of us. We can't afford to think otherwise. So for all you future people, just know that we lived through something horrible, but we did it. Somehow, we're alive. And if you're hearing this, then, well, I guess at least some of us made it, right? So hey, chin up, kiddo. You'll be okay. Okay?
Interview 2, Reverend Delbert Winters. Hi, I met you in the woods near the Morgantown airport. You were picking flowers. Why?
I was harvesting a lot of stuff, actually. I hunted deer recently. Looked strange, but tasted fine.
Okay. Well, what's a basic, easy meal that someone who's been surviving on cans could make?
You can make tea with dried flowers. It's not much, but it can soothe your stomach. I don't know what this flower is called, but I call it a soot flower. If you add it to water, you can make a tea. Same with rabbit meat or chicken meat. You can easily make soups with boiled water. God willing, we can adapt old recipes to new types of food.
Oh, what do you mean by that?
Back in the Army, we got sent off to places with weird fish I'd never heard of and weird veggies I'd never seen again. You know, we had to cook with them still. Just pretend it's catfish or something. You see how it turns out. But now, well, let me say that I've seen some weird stuff. I thought maybe it was unholy, but these are all the creation of our Lord, even if man has manipulated them, and dang it, they're still edible.
Okay. Well, what kind of veggies do you eat?
Yeah, there are still some edible veggies out there, like melons, carrots, and gourds. You know, I found some tomatoes and potatoes growing together. They're somehow pollinating each other or something. I ate one, and it was kind of like ketchup-flavored cardboard, but hey, I'm alive. You might have to experience like that. Don't be too picky if it keeps you alive to see the end of times.
Sounds like you've been thinking about this for a while.
You could say that. I knew the end was coming for a good long while. And, well, it's here. And the end will come again. I have faith that there's a reason for all this, and that we need to survive to see our Lord again. And, well, we need food to survive.
Fair enough. Thanks for the tips, Delbert.
talking to this? Oh, yeah, am I loud enough? Okay. Hi. What do you want me to say exactly?
Yeah, so just talk about how you got here and maybe a little bit about your life. This is a historic document. Go ahead, Tabitha.
Okay. So, well, thanks. Okay. I've been sober for 9 days. I got here 9 days ago. My name is Tabitha. And this is my story. I just found out about everything. The war, the bombs, I just realized this was, really happening. For years, I thought the chems were playing tricks with my mind, hurting my brain. Thought it was the worst trip. Every time I'd come out of my haze long enough to look for food, I'd find more chems and, well, they kept going. And I kept seeing madness. Look, I would have been wandering around fighting giant rats and eating garbage if not for the responders. They're good folks. That doc in the church, they have some meds that are helping out a lot. And they have group therapy meetings, and it's good. It's good. I think it's helpful. But listen, you should avoid the mountains. They'll just get you mixed up. Get you doing things you don't want to do. Hurting people mostly. And there are so many chems up there. I spent too long there and I hurt people. I couldn't think right. I couldn't.
Oh, it's okay, Tabitha. Remember what we said in the group? Take your Addictol and rest, and things will be okay soon. It's okay. We're here for you.
Yeah. Thank you. When I feel better, I'm going out west, though. Getting out of this place. Getting out, getting away from the camps, all of this. I feel better every day, but, you know, years of chems, years of rads, years of sleeping in the muck. It adds up. Yeah. I'm gonna get back to sleep now, okay?
Okay. Thanks for sharing your story, Tabitha. Get some sleep. You'll be okay. You're safe now.
Dasa has asked us all to document our stories for posterity, you know. It seems like a fine idea. So, hi, I am Kesha McDermott. When the bombs fell, I was in Watoga, coordinating a statewide science fair for that year's high school kids. And the theme was the future of energy. After the bombs, everything was pretty chaotic. Scavenging for food and fighting off rabid survivors. Oh, it was just a bad time all around. I found a couple of surviving kids from the high school whose parents didn't make it. And we holed up in a house in town for a while. After a bit, I was able to solder the circuitry in an old radio, and we tuned in to a broadcast from the responders. Oh, we were overjoyed. The trip from Watoga to Flatwoods. The kids and I ran into a group of assholes in the mountains who stole our food and water. I can't tell you how happy I was to find the responders in Flatwoods. Tents for everyone, open kitchens, medical supplies, protection. We were saved. They had a problem, though. Their water sources were contaminated heavily. People boiling water, but not long enough to make it safe. So, I stepped up and I said, I'll build a testing kit to monitor the contamination, and I will teach folks how to properly boil water. I did. The world is getting better, but slowly. We need to make sure it doesn't relapse too. It's going to take time and care, that's all. Well, time, care, and science.
Tonight, we bring you the final chapter of Who Goes There? The Strange Encounter in Flatwoods. In the last episode, Pioneer Scout Fred Fisher met a curious girl named Sally while hiding in the dark. But, as it turned out, they weren't alone.
There are other people here?
Yeah, they probably just went to get water. Really, that's soon enough. It'll give you further. You can have to do what they want. What do you want for the I don't care. They're still learning the rules. Mostly, they're kind of boring and only hurt when they use the needles.
Needles?
Yeah, you know, like a doctor.
Doesn't sound like anything I know. It sounds like awful, and these people sound really bad. We have to get out of here.
No, stay put, stay put, stay put, stay put.
Okay, stop screaming. Ah, the light. It's so bright.
That's where they come in to bring food, or when it's time to play.
Sally, what's that helmet thing you're wearing? It looks like...
Time to play. Time to play.
wandering by the river outside Flatwoods. He was disoriented but unharmed, save for 2 small wounds on each temple. To this day, Fred is convinced his strange encounter was real, and even continues to search high and low for a missing girl named Sally, whom he swears he met. So I leave it to you to decide, dear listeners. Was this simply the wild imagination of a frightened boy lost in the woods? Or was Fred Fisher in fact abducted by brainwashing aliens from outer space? Be sure to tune in next week for another thrilling chapter of Tales from the West Virginia Hills.
Overseer's log, town of Flatwood. My God. There's no one here. The old tavern, the church, people were using them for shelter, but they're gone. Mutations we expected. There's something else. A disease. I was attacked by... Well, it used to be a person. But it had these green, glowing lesions, and its voice. Angry, tortured. We are one. One what? Whatever happened here is beyond anything we expected. And we expected a lot. Before they were wiped out, the survivors called themselves the Responders. Looks like they were made of firefighters, police, emergency medical staff. They even have an automated system to teach people about treating water, food, survival. I'm doing their tests, and you should too. I know it's even worse than we imagined, but someone's got to know where the missile silos are and how to secure them. The Responders are the best lead we have. This is the Overseer, signing off.
This is my first interview with another survivor, Kesha McDermott. She found me trying to break into a Nuka-Cola machine and, showed me a different way. So, Kesha, can you tell us a bit about how we can make sure our water is safe for drinking? Try to keep it to the basics for training purposes.
Oh, it's not complicated, really. Find water and strain out any big particles and chunks. Then, boil it in a pot over an open fire for a minute or two, then let it cool. Should be fine. Like making tea, right?
We call it the Great War now. It's not been long, and things have been rough. Welcome to Survivor Stories. I'm Dasa Ben-Amin, a responder. I've been working with the Responders for a couple of years now. I'm from Charleston originally, so it was easy to join up. What wasn't easy was the work. Rebuilding Appalachia from the rubble while survivors flock to us regularly from all over. So many have come and gone. Their stories untold, their names lost to time. I thought we should preserve this history somehow. I've decided to ask people to record their thoughts, their stories, anything they want to preserve forever. I'll call this series the Survivor Stories. I'll start with me. I was an anthropology PhD student at Vault-Tec University. Final year. I was printing my thesis when I heard the sirens. I thought for sure my father, a Vault-Tec employee, could take us all with him, but reservation came through. I refused to go. With my little brother, he went to the vault. They could not persuade me, though they tried. In the end, I pushed them inside it, and that was it. After that, I went back home to Charleston and, well, survived. Eventually, the responders formed, and I signed up right away. It was so hard. The flood was devastating. Relocating to Morgantown Airport and now Flatwoods has been... I remain optimistic. Been with them now for, I guess 2 years. We have big plans. We can do so much to help. Maybe, just maybe, we can rebuild enough to be okay. In the meantime, I will continue to record stories of survivors when I can. We are your history. This is Dasa Ben-Ami, signing off for now. This is my first interview with another survivor, Kesha McDermott. She found me trying to break into a Nuka-Cola machine and, showed me a different way. So, Kesha, can you tell us a bit about how we can make sure our water is safe for drinking? Try to keep it to the basics for training purposes.
Oh, it's not complicated, really. Find water and strain out any big particles and chunks. Then, boil it in a pot over an open fire for a minute or two, then let it cool. Should be fine. Like making tea, right?
Uh-huh. You joined the responders a while ago and helped develop a program to train volunteers. So, were you a survivalist prior to all of this?
You could say that. I taught high school kids. I used to talk about this very thing to them. Practical application of the sciences. It's fascinating, but you never realize how important some things will be down the road, do you?
I guess not. So if we were students of yours, what would you tell us about the world now? How can we survive?
That's a good question, Dasa. Well, I would tell you all to remain calm and focus on surviving. The first thing you need to do is get yourself some clean drinking water. It's likely all you'll find is dirty water, but that's okay. We can fix it. Dirty water carries a small chance of disease, and it's a bit radioactive. You'll probably survive if you drink it, but you shouldn't take that risk. It's better than toxic water or nuclear waste, though, which are both very harmful and should be boiled thoroughly first. Got that, Dasa?
Yes'm. Contaminated water should be boiled. Okay. That sounds good enough. So, boiled water is safe?
It's mostly safe, but still a bit radioactive. What you really want is purified water.
Oh, purified water. Okay, how do I get that?
You can build machines that will do it for you, and that's the most reliable way. Building them requires some space and time and plenty of materials. But on my way up here from Watoga, I found purified water occasionally in supply caches and medical kits. So, keep your eyes peeled.
If I boil water, and that's mostly safe, well, aside from a teensy bit of radiation, what about tea? Most folks around here are tea drinkers, as you know. I recall many a night sipping tea on the stoop, watching lightning bugs, and reading a book in peace and quiet. Tell me that's still okay, Kesha?
Oh, bless your heart. It's probably as good as boiled water anyway. Maybe even better if you add anything medicinal to it. Some survivors add all sorts of flowers and herbs to boiled water, and they swear by it. Personally, I stick with purified water. To each their own.
Okay, got it. Switching tracks a bit. I know you're awfully busy with your latest research in Flatwoods. Can you explain that a bit?
Of course. I'm testing local, natural water over time in Appalachia. Gathering data, monitoring the radiation and contamination levels, all of that. I analyze the data in my lab to look for long-term trends and use those trends to determine how we can use the water right now. We use the water for more than just drinking, you know. It feeds our plants, which feed our animals, so we need to know how things are changing.
You got a lot of work cut out for you. I'm glad you joined the responders. That data sounds invaluable.
It is. I've integrated the data collection and research into the Responders Survivors Volunteer Program as well. I am still a teacher.
Automated warning to all responders. Mr. Farmhands are out of control. Evacuate civilians and take down those supervisors. Once they're dealt with, you'll have to reboot the server. Again.
Intruder. Identify yourself.
not interfere with Vault-Tec duty.
Overseer's log, town of Flatwoods. My God. There's no one here. The old tavern, the church, people were using them for shelter, but they're gone. Mutations we... Overseer's... let's call these personal journals. Not an official log, just something for me. The Agricultural Center, one of my first posts with Vault-Tec. I was so excited because I used to come to this same farm when I was a kid. I remember one year at the Autumn Festival, me running through the corn maze, going every which way, Mom and Dad yelling after me to slow down. Wasn't gonna happen. I guess I was always hitting life fast. Couldn't just be a pioneer scout. I had to make troop leader. Couldn't just be a good student. I had to have straight A's. God, I miss those early days. Just being a kid. The three of us, our simple life, our simple house. I wonder if it's still standing.